Mom was my dad's principal caregiver, as so many spouses become with chronic illness. I only lived 5 miles away and was able to go over a few times a week. That gave Dad and I time to work and develop on his Parkinson's exercises and give Mom a break. Mom was cooked for him both and assisted in his personal needs. She was his chauffeur, his secretary, his housekeeper, you name it, she did it. But at what price? The obvious fatigue, mental and physical. A person can do one thing here and a thing there and kind of absorb the extra activity, but only for so long. It goes almost unnoticed as the time adds up. Dad had noticed the slow movements of his bradykinesia, the slow moving, but it didn't stop him to help out in the kitchen or do the vacuuming, things he could do at his own pace. He did yard work and lawns and firewood and the stuff that guys usually do. He could manage most of his personal dressing and grooming, and he took his own meds. Then he started needing help with his socks and then his shoes, and then he had to ask Mom for help opening the med bottles, and she had to add a few more minutes of her time to doing his care needs. Since his voice was becoming soft, since we hadn't started our vocal exercises yet, she had to take all the phone calls. Then she did the note-taking and the bill paying and the letter sending because Dad's hands became cupped and his writing became illegible. Pretty soon my mom and my husband and I took on the yard and firewood duties. Dad declined, but it wasn't from PD, it was from an intestinal surgery. We'd made the decision that Dad'd never go to a care facility because he had us. But you can see how this, over the course of 10 years, nibbled away at Mom's time as she added a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and got tireder and tireder. But this is what you need to know. She categorically wouldn't take time for herself. We'd work on exercise or be doing some relaxation for his tremor or be going out for drives, and he'd suggest that Mom go out for coffee or do something that she wanted to do. But she'd stay at home doing exactly what she did when he was there. Kind of like spending time with herself or for herself was stealing time from him, and it really wasn't so. She could have gone out. This is what I want us to explore before you find your family in this situation. The effects are farther reaching than is immediately evident. It's not apparent until you really reflect backwards like I was. The caregiver may give freely of themselves out of love and care and concern, but as fatigue and repetition set in, sadness or a sense of a couple of different losses come about. Not just the loss of the spouse they've known, but the loss of their own self. With this sadness may come more major depression for the caregiver. If not dealt with, it can manifest itself in a downhill spiral, less energy, less enthusiasm, less interest. It can result in the caregiver becoming ill themselves. Unaddressed depression may not result in illness, but in growing resentment. Look at the frustrating position. I love my spouse or family member, so how can I resent doing all this stuff for him? Well, so who can I be angry at? It's not their fault. Or they might even think it's all about them and never about me, but they can't help it. Gosh, I must be a bad first person for feeling this way. And then the caregiver becomes even more depressed. But how does the person with Parkinson's interpret that body language? I hate this Parkinson's for what it's doing to me, but I hate what it's doing to my wife or husband or my family. I can't do a certain activity, and I hate to ask for help because they're so tired. Maybe I should go to a care facility. Would it be better for everybody involved? Oh, I just feel guilty. That's pretty heavy. If the caregiver doesn't take opportunity to meet each circle, the focus can begin to narrow. If they aren't exposed to laughter and fresh ideas and positive enjoyment of their past interests, how do they get their batteries recharged? And how do they recharge for themselves and for the person with Parkinson's? They might limit themselves among gatherings or public areas as they become more unsure of themselves and increasingly uncomfortable with people or places outside the safe nest. And it doesn't get better, it only becomes more problematic. The word reclusive kind of comes to mind. Where does that leave our caregiver if they find themselves living alone in the future? Lonelier than needed because they're hollow of purpose, and the possible inability to find themselves is really a downhill slide. Okay, now that we've talked about all those negatives, let's turn it around. Refer to that title. You were wondering what a lifeguard had to do with this. Well, it used to be that lifeguards were supposed to try and make the rescue at all costs, including the cost of the lifeguard. But as the years went by, the thought changed. Well, if the lifeguard goes down, they're not going to rescue everybody, so everybody's going down. If you can keep the lifeguard safe, the rescues can be made. If you as a caregiver starts having that same mindset, take care of yourself, then you'll be able to take care of your loved one, because you don't have to feel guilty for the steps of taking care of yourself. You're taking care of both of you. So take time to rest and build it into your day. Make it routine. Take time to exercise and get fresh air. Build it into your day just as before. Take a walk. Maybe your person with Parkinson's will be napping, or you might take them to an adult daycare so you can get other things done. It invigorates you. If you bring oxygen to your brain and body by exercising, it raises your serotonin levels, and you're going to be more comfortable inside your own skin. Impress yourself. Keep doing your hair. Keep doing your makeup. Shave. Wear colorful clothes and eat well. Continue to be your own person and keep those things that you love right in your forefront. Enjoy that artwork and gardening. Go to church. Go to a few courses. Maybe some ball games. Play with the grandkids. Surround yourself with friends for coffee, or have an afternoon get-together, or a group over for TV movie night. You'll continue to feel that you're fulfilled and be a happier person for everyone.